It is the second collaboration bot of the Ultraman Collab announced on Medarot Day 2021. It is ULT01 7 Slugger, with a kit of Hide Blow, Double Assassin, Biped Legs, and the leg ability of Rush, which buffs success and power of equipped melee parts if the number equipped exceeds that of the targets. Now, much like Ultraman in this case, it is great to see another collaboration bot. However, with this collaboration, we only will be seeing 2 models in this case, with the trade-off being more rewards for the event when it does go live. However, with that being said, 7 Slugger does also bring another brand new skill to the table, and that is Hide Blow. If you attack a foe from behind, which means they are on cooldown status when you attack them, you gain 1 shield stack, according to the flavor text. Now, I'm not 100% sure how well this shield stack performs or what kind of shield stack it is. Is it basic guard? Is it maybe guard 300 or 500? Or even perfect guard? I'm not 100% sure. That'll come with time as we see 7 Slugger officially in action and actually see for ourselves how this shield stack supposedly works. Right arm and left arm of Assassin are very high crit, high hitting, damaging moves, as they are guaranteed to land a hit on the opponent and guaranteed to land a critical hit on the opponent. But it does come with a caveat. If you fail to break apart on the opponent with your strike, your arm breaks. But if you manage to break apart on a target with your strike, your arm lives to fight another day. So in this sense, I would say it's more of a gambling move in this case. Not quite as much of a gambling move as, say, Destroy, as Assassin is a little more conventionally useful. The only major weakness to Assassin in this case is particularly anyone who is absurdly tanky. So say, for instance, someone would say base HP of 4,000 or higher. I would not recommend using Assassin on immediately, not until you whittle them down first and can guarantee that your hit is going to break something on it. Pretty solid base power across the board too, about 1527, roughly 1520s for both arms in this case, so generally in either case, you can use either arm and never go wrong with it. They are a little squishy though, about 2900 HP, but just a little bit better than Ultraman in this case. So in this case, 7 Slugger is a little better built for that incoming, to take some incoming blows and maybe not have anything broken on him when he does end up taking a hit. Biped legs, the leg ability of Rush, however, does greatly complement his build though, as all 3 of his skills are melee based, meaning that pretty much on any opponent that is using 2 or fewer heavy parts, he is guaranteed to have the upper hand on his turn. And when fighting shooting based targets, he is going to have the time of his life. So as a pure set score, I would rate him a pretty solid 8 out of 10 in this case. Very solid HP across the board, very solid stats as well. 1105 for the success of Hide Blow, very solid base power too at 1585. Pretty solid heat cool across the board too, about the mid 600s, high 700s for his overall general heat skill between his head and arms, and then where it gets really low in the 400s, which maybe puts him in that slightly lower tier. A mobility of 860 for his legs also is fantastic, so that does mean he's going to have pretty solid speed on most terrains, as long as he's not facing any major debuff. High evade stat of 1257 means he's going to be very good at dodging and grazing incoming attacks when if he's still able to defend or evade against them. Resist of 1201 and 989 puts him in that general sweet spot, meaning that he's going to be pretty solid across the board, pretty well-rounded as well when it comes to reducing damage from incoming hits. The one particular weakness I do see of 7 Slugger, however, is the fact that aside from his head, which has limited uses, his arms have no pierce damage on them, as they're essentially a one-hit strike move, and that's it, which essentially is another weakness of Assassin in this case. So 7 Slugger does lack pierce damage, but he does make up for it with having some pretty solid stats across the board, and what he is good at, he does it very well, as Assassin is still very handy for that, essentially that passive pot shot to guarantee that if you do land a hit, it is guaranteed to cripple them as long as you are able to break something with it. As mixed parts, I would rate 7 Slugger a pretty solid 8.5 out of 10, possibly even a 9 depending on the particular instance you choose to use him in. Assassin is still a very solid melee-based skill though, so you can never go wrong with it with any dedicated melee nuker in this case. Hide Blow will be a very unique skill to make use of and see though. I am very interested to see how well this shield stack does supposedly work once it does go live, and I will be sure to report on that or maybe add a comment or an edit to this video once I do understand how that works so I can better explain it. So very solid 8.5 out of 10 across the board, very good legs, very solid melee skills across the board, so very likely and very obvious in the sense 7 Slugger is going to maybe take the role of your dedicated melee nuker more than maybe even an ailment fighter or conventional nuker in this case.